I'm happy to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Luke Leblanc. Luke is joining us from Minnesota today. Luke, thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, you have a new album out. Tell me about this. It must be so exciting for you.
Yeah, it feels it's like a musical birthday in a way, just feels like a nice little celebratory sense of feeling in the air. Yeah, it's an album called Fugue State, and I started recording it last November. And Fugue State as a term, it's kind of a psychology term that means it's like if somebody's going through an extreme amount of stress or trauma, they might disassociate from their identity, forget where they are. And I think that collectively as a society, we're kind of going through that right now with pandemic, social reckoning, and really deep cultural, political divides. I think we're kind of taking a step back and saying, hey, who are we? And I think the way I process that feeling is through music. So
Tell me about the process of this. Do you do most of the writing? Do you have, some partners that write with you all the time, or is it a number of different people? And do you kind of do it like a concept type of an album, or you just whatever flows and seems to work for you, you just decide what you like and put it on there?
sure. Well, the writing is all mine. I write all the words and music and everything. Um, and I don't when I'm writing, I don't sit down and say, hey, this album is going to be about this. What I think happens is I think I write in phases, and whatever I'm feeling or thinking about just kind of comes out during that period of time. And I think when I had these songs, I think I had about 7 songs. And once I get to about 7 songs, I say to myself, okay, it's time to record an album. And I just noticed there was kind of a theme among them. And I left a little space to write songs as we were recording the album too. Because so the guy who produced the album, Eric Koskinen, he's a fellow singer songwriter here in Minnesota, and he's got a great ear for music and what instruments could go on songs, and does a fantastic job. His studio is about an hour and a half away from where I live, and when I recorded my last album called Only Human, I noticed on the drive down to a studio, I'd always be thinking of some song, and I'd get out the voice memo thing while I was in the car and, jot something down. And so I left room for songs to come as the album, progresses.
So I know a lot of artists, when they drop new albums, then they often have a tour plan to promote that. Is that something you're looking into at this point? Or are you going to let the album kind of sizzle for a bit and then see what happens?
Yeah, it's kind of a hybrid. I've got an album release show that I'm doing um, at a venue called the Ice House here in Minnesota. A very suitable name for a venue. And I've got a show about every month for the next couple months that are either local or maybe a little bit out in the region. So just kind of slowly trying to build an audience and play shows close to home and move further out and further out as I can go. So it's a hybrid, to answer your question, on a tour. Yeah.
So if people haven't heard your music, Luke, how would you best describe it?
I describe it as that's just such a great question. It's so hard to describe yourself. But I think if folks are familiar with Americana as a music genre, Americana folk rock, indie, it's kind of in that style. There's also rock too. I think it's music that's it's got a little bit of everything, I think, and it's got roots in a lot of different places, which I'm thankful for because I was able to, be exposed to a lot of different music growing up and listening to different things. So there's a little bit of everything, but Americana is the short answer.
Well, Luke, I've had a chance to listen to some of the tracks, and it's a fantastic album. Do you think that we might see you in Canada at some point as part of a tour? I mean, you're pretty close to the border.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I was just in Canada for the first time this summer. We went up to Thunder Bay, which is just right over the border. I wanted to drive my car and be able to use the kilometers thing because we don't know what kilometers are here in the United States. We do, but we don't know how. figure them out. So I'd love to do a show in Canada. So that's a good thing to add to my list. Book a show in Canada.
Well, thanks for chatting with us today, Luke. And if people are looking to find out more about the album or hear some of your previous work, what is the best way to track you down?
I'd say Instagram at Luke Leblanc Music or Facebook if you look up Luke Leblanc Music. And of course, I have a website too. It's lukeleblanc.com. And my album it'll be streaming everywhere now on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Prime, all the stuff. And if folks want an old school CD compact disc, I do have those. Just go to lukeleblanc.com, hit the store, and I'll personally ship it to United States, Canada, United Kingdom, everywhere in the world. So
All right, Luke. Well, thanks again for chatting with us. And I'm sure that we'll see you up here soon. It'd be great to catch you in concert live sometime. Good luck with everything. And we'll keep in touch and see how things are going for you over the next few months.
sounds great. Thank you, and thanks for supporting music.